112-99, the Sacramento Kings drop a big game, in my opinion, in the mecca of basketball, New York City, to a Knicks team that now has won 4 games in a row, and they're beginning to find themselves. But this game really came down to making shots, getting quality shots, and playing better defense. Obviously, you can always play better defense. You know, you shouldn't be getting out rebounded by 10 or more. That's been one of their big bugaboos in the last, I would say, 4 weeks, right? When someone out rebounds them, they don't win the game. Okay. But when your best player, your best offensive player is out, it's going to make life very difficult. Can they win certain games? Maybe some games in the short term, it might be okay. But in the long term, you need that offensive initiator, that offensive creator that makes everyone's lives easier. And that's De'Aaron Fox. There's no question about it. You know, I was looking at the comments on Instagram today from the post, and I don't know who it was, but they said, "Oh, they don't really need Fox." It was just the fact that they were missing shots, and I'm just like, it's getting to the point where it's ridiculous. The Fox slander needs to stop, man. Fox on one leg the team is better with Fox on one leg. Him playing adds an added pressure to that team, to whoever they're playing. That's just a fact. Julius Randle getting ejected, Brunson getting injured, and they still couldn't get the job done? Come on, man. Don't tell me you don't need Fox. We're going to look at the analytics again as we did a few weeks ago, and just to demonstrate how important, how vital a guy like De'Aaron Fox is. The Fox slander needs to stop. 112.99. Make sure you guys check out Medici Sacramento across the Golden One Center. Amazing spot to get your food before a game or after a game, to get some drinks before or after a game, literally across the Golden One Center. And if the Kings aren't playing, there's a concert going on downtown, and that's still the perfect spot to go to, man. Shout out to Medici Sacramento for always believing in the platform. Man, it was rough to watch. It was rough to watch, especially in that first quarter. Terrence Davis came back, and he really stood out to me, and it wasn't a good thing. He was one of those sour apples today where you were like, please get him out of the game. Please put Keegan in. It was just bad play after bad play from T. And I love the guy. He's a great person. He's a very good player. But tonight, coming off of that injury, was just not one of his best nights. Trey Lyles had a solid night, but damn, that was bad. Sabonis, again, 20 and 12 tonight. 3 offensive rebounds, 9 defensive, 4 assists. He was a -6. Harrison Barnes at -12, 15 points, 6 of 9. Sabonis was 6 of 11. They shot 65%, 23 of 35 from the free throw line. That's not going to get it done. They had 41 rebounds in comparison to their 55 rebounds. That's 14 more rebounds. Think about all the offensive rebounds. They had 15. The Knicks had 15 offensive rebounds. That's not going to get the job done, man. That's not going to get the job done. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter as well, at BSLeo, or on Instagram, at cowbell_kingdom, or Basketball Zone Official. Man, 15 offensive rebounds. That is crazy. A lot of those came from Mitchell Robinson, who had a very good game. 12 points, 9 rebounds. He had 2 blocks. He didn't miss a single shot from the floor. He was 5 of 5, man. He was 5 of 5 tonight. I thought Brunson was very solid. He was calm, cool, and collected. Whenever they needed a bucket to stop some of that bleeding, the Kings made a little bit of a run, but it was just never enough. It never felt real, right? And I haven't even listened to anything that Coach had to say today. We're going to listen to it in a little bit. But me personally, you didn't feel them today. And I hate Sunday games. I hate Sunday games, man. And for whatever reason, this team, even defensive, which again, 112 points, that's not bad. The Knicks came in 14th on both the offensive rating and defensive rating today, right? That's the graphic that I posted right before the game started. I got out of church at 3, so the Knicks, as I said earlier, they're finding themselves. And the Kings had a great opportunity to win without De'Aaron Fox, and they just could never find their rhythm. This is the type of game that's messy, that's ugly, that you need a guy as good as De'Aaron to create shots not just for himself, but for others, and quality shots, breaking down the defense. Look at the bench today. Monk had 12 points. Lyles had 8. Dellavedova had 2. Monk was 3 of 15. That's so inefficient. He was 4 of 4 from the free throw line, so he was the only positive there. 3 turnovers. He had some silly turnovers. I mean, some silly turnovers. Man, that was rough to watch. And 23 minutes of action tonight. Kevin Huerter had damn near played 40 tonight. 6 of 16, 2 of 9 from beyond New York, 3 of 6 from the free throw line. This man got to do something about his free throws. I don't know what it is. He is not a good free throw shooter this season. He is struggling. I don't know why, especially when he's such a great three-point shooter. That does not make any sense. 17 points tonight, 5 rebounds. It does not make any sense. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. Why? Keegan Murray, 3 of 8 from beyond the arc, 6 of 15. He had those huge three-pointers early to kind of bring the Kings back a little bit, and then he gave up some easy shots on defense. They had a lot of breakdowns defensively. It was tough. Davion Mitchell, 7 points tonight. 3 of 5 from the field. 1 of 2 from beyond the arc. 3 rebounds, 2 assists. I thought Brunson had a solid game. And I know I was talking mess about Julius Randle, but and again, 27 points. Like, he plays well against the Kings. I feel like all the time. That doesn't make you better than Sabonis on so many levels. Even tonight, as great of a game as he was having, statistically speaking, he's so undisciplined. Coach Tibbs literally wanted to tear his head off on so many occasions. He doesn't play any defense. He's lackluster there. He's always ball watching. He's not a better player. Is he a better scorer? Perhaps. I mean, he takes a lot of shots. If you look at what he's doing this year, right? Once again, 22 and 8. He is taking, let me see how many shots he's taking in the game. He's shooting 46% from the field, and he's shooting 34% from beyond the arc and 79% from the free throw line. And let's be honest, like, in many ways, he's a black hole. Yeah, he gets assists. He averages about 3.5, but his game is so predictable. again, he's sporadic. He's undisciplined. He can't be your best player and expect to win ball games. He had that one good year when they made the playoffs. And they caught up to them last year. And they had to go get a guy who was extremely solid in Brunson, and they did. And they're starting to find themselves. I think they're a game above 500 now. Yeah, they're 14-13. They might, they'll probably be a play-in team, but they're not a playoff team. This roster is not a playoff team. I'm not in love with Julius Randle. I'm just not. He plays well against the Kings, but watch him against everybody else. Literally. Like watch him against everybody else. He is as sporadic as they come. He's going to turn the ball over a lot. He averaged 3 turnovers in November a game, 2.2 in October, and so far his turnovers are down 1.5. That's a lot better. He's had a strong December, but can he keep it up? I don't think he can. He had a monster game against Atlanta, 34-17. I just don't think he can. That was his best game of the year. And he would have had 30 for sure tonight. He plays well against the Kings. He's having a great December. He's just so undisciplined. That's just how I feel about him. Let's take a look at what Mike Brown had to say.
We didn't have an answer for Julius. Julius kind of had his way with us. Big, strong player, and we didn't execute anything we talked about executing going into the game. So he got us on our heels, and then Brunson had a good game, and RJ had a good game, and Mitchell Robinson was a monster on the boards, and we didn't do what we were supposed to do with him on the weak side. So you got to give their whole team, from Tibbs and the coaching staff to their players on down, credit, because they kicked my behind and all the other coaches and players in our locker rooms behind today. We obviously have to do a better job at the free throw line. We're struggling from the free throw line, and although this game wasn't close, we got there enough, and for us to leave 12 on the table is tough, especially on the road. So we got to do a little bit better job in that area going forward, and we'll got to get ready to go get the next one. But give the Knicks a lot of credit. They did what they were supposed to do to win the game, and we didn't play well, but they had something to do with it. Yeah, for sure. When we can't generate offense, or like a night like tonight, to have a guy they can go generate it, or give your guys some easy looks, give you guys some confidence, and then maybe De'Aaron's capable of going off for 30 at any time, just like Julius or Jalen or and RJ every once in a while, I guess. So.
He shows a lot of tough love to De'Aaron,
It's a great question. I don't know yet, because this is my first time around with this team. We're a young team, and this team, we haven't really won at a high level as a group or even as individually. And so for us to be in a situation where we're out for a while and we're going into people's buildings, it'd be interesting to see how we respond. But for me, I was interested to see how we do on this long trip to begin with. And, maybe by the end of the trip, I'll be able to answer that a little bit better.
What was the biggest
He just got to where he wanted to. We were supposed to send a double team. We didn't go. And then when we
That was
did
pretty
go,
funny, logical.
we didn't keep Mitchell off the weak side. So he did
We know what he
he
thinks.
wanted to do out there, and
Facts.
it felt like he hit 8 threes, but when I look, he only hit 3. When he makes his threes on top of getting to the paint and all that other stuff, he could be a load.
The act's not going to look different, but offensively, is there anything you can take from this as sort of like a
Yeah, there's a lot.
Terrible,
One of the
Mike.
things we said, New York does a great job protecting the paint. And I thought time and time again, we just took some tough shots. We drove in the paint and took some tough shots, whether we tried to lay it up over Mitchell and he blocked it, or we took just tough contested fadeaways in the paint instead of just spraying the ball. When we spray the ball, we're usually at our best. And I thought we didn't spray it in a timely manner like we have in the past, which makes it tough. Okay. Yeah, we've been trending up most of the season, and we've taken a couple steps back. Tonight, obviously, we took a step backwards, and not just because of the loss. Sometimes in some of the wins too, you could take steps backwards, and in some of the losses, you could take steps forward. Because I thought some of our early losses, even though we started out 0-4, each game we were getting a little bit better. So if you throw out tonight's game, I'm okay where we are. But it's a long season. We got to keep working, and if we stop working, we'll be in trouble. Thank you, guys.
Well, can't stop working. Let's look at the analytics for De'Aaron Fox just to show you guys what I'm referring to, right? Oh, man. So, obviously, big ups to him. He's improved a lot on the perimeter this year. He's in the 71st percentile, which is a B. His pull-up 3, 52nd percentile, which is a C. I think that went down from earlier when I did the video. Catch and shoot, 91st percentile, which is an A. Right? His ABT 3-point percentage, 80th percentile, which is an A minus. He struggles in the corner. It's a D, 27th percentile. He needs to work on that. But when you talk about his finishing, right? His adjusted drives per 75 possessions. And to give you guys a definition of it, it's drives per 75 offensive possessions on the court, with a regression of league average driving rate possessions to stabilize small samples. A plus, 95 percentile, right? Unassisted rim field goals attempted per 75. A minus. The kid can just get to the rim. He can get to any spot on the floor. He's that good, right? The percentage of rim that's unassisted as well. A. Rim shot creation. A minus. 89th percentile. Right? It's this Z-score rating evaluates a player's ability to get to the rim, leveraging the player's unassisted volume per 100 possessions and rate unassisted at the rim. It essentially means he doesn't need anybody to create for him. Like, he doesn't need a screen. The guy just gets to the rim at will because you cannot stay in front of him one-on-one. You need to help whoever is guarding him. Like, he's so elite at that, right? Contact finish rate, B+. Foul driven rate, B. Adjusted field goal percentage at the rim, A-. Rim shot quality, an F. And I'm assuming because he does get to the rack, and this specific metric probably values, how he gets. It's kind of weird though, because it says a Z-score rating estimate of the shot quality for shots taken at the rim. How many times, for the most part, will a shot at the rim not be contested, right? It's kind of silly in a way. Like, you expect somebody to contest him at the rim. So take that grade with a grain of salt, and his finishing talent is an A+. That's just what he does, man. 96 percentile. He's elite of the elite there. That's just what he does. Like, he's that good. Again, let's look at his playmaking. You can look at his assists per 75, his box creation, his scoring gravity, and then to top it off with his playmaking talent, 95th percentile, which is an A. Lots of A's across the board. The guy is just a playmaker. He makes everyone's life easier. That's just what he does, man. His box creation, again, this is the key. This is the key metric for me. It's an estimate of open shots carved out for teammates by drawing defensive attention. And this comes from Ben Taylor. That's just what he does. It doesn't need to be where he passes the ball to somebody and he gets credit for the assist. He puts so much pressure at the rim. He puts so much pressure on opposing defenses. He creates a lot of open lanes for others. That's just what he does, man. He's a great playmaker. Does not, and I know a lot of people just look at the ball when they watch a game and they ask, how many assists do you have? Whether you get a lot or a little is what they're going to perceive you as, a good or a bad passer. There is more to it when it comes to playmaking than just making the final pass for an assist, right? There's a hockey assist. There's a lot to it. It's more complex than that. And, luckily we have these metrics that can prove that. And then his on-ball perimeter defense has gotten a lot better. He's in the 86th percentile, which is an A-. You need a guy like that, especially on a guy like Brunson tonight. No question about it. And for the most part, he guards the primary ball handler. He's in the 92nd percentile. He does it pretty much 30% of the time. That's what he does. He takes on the challenge. He doesn't hide. He doesn't shy away from it. That's De'Aaron Fox, y'all. That's what he does. Okay? That's just what he does. His speed, shot control isn't max. He's at an elite speed in a sense. In comparison, faster equals lower accuracy with Fox, hence the movement points. Other similar stats. I think he's a lot better than Max in that area. De'Aaron can accelerate and decelerate. He's so under control. John Morant goes 100 miles an hour every single time, which is why he's typically injured. And he gets those ugly injuries, right? Again, Fox is injured now. I don't know where he got hurt. I don't know when. They're saying it came back to that Magic game on the road. I don't recall it, but if you're always trying to dunk on somebody, which Fox can do, right? He can dunk on anybody at any point, but he chooses not to because he plays it safe in that regard. He's under control. Ja wants to rip your head off every single time, which again, that's cool and all. But that could lead to a lot more injuries. So I just hope he plays the next game because De'Aaron Fox is just a spectacular playmaker who doesn't get credit for it, but the analytics don't lie. The film doesn't lie because when you watch him play, he draws so much attention and he gets his guys open shots. I think the Knicks have a better idea of who their scorers are. When Randle got ejected, Brunson stepped up. When Brunson went off, injured, RJ stepped up. I don't think we know who our best options are. That's fair. That's fair. I think at this point, though, when Malik Monk shot 3 of 15, right? He's your second best one-on-one player, and in this situation, your best because Fox isn't playing. And if he's struggling, who's next? It's Harrison Barnes, right? Kevin Huerter's game is predicated on a lot of screen assists from Domantas Sabonis, off a lot of movement, off a lot of cuts. One-on-one, when you need to get into his bag, besides Fox, you have Malik. And if Malik is struggling, who do you go to? The Kings went on a 19-0 run against the Cavs. That's all good and dandy. But how sustainable is that? It's not. It's not, which is why I keep saying you got to go after DeMar DeRozan. Which is one of the names. One, because he's going to draw the other best defender. If not against him, then he gets the second guy because the other guy's going to guard Fox. And that's going to be a problem. Right? There's a lot of advantages to a guy like that. Even tonight against the Hawks, he missed the game winner. And then he drew potentially the game winner. He thought that was over with 0.5 of a second. He hit all 3 free throws. He's a high free throw shooter. He gets to the line a ton. He, again, elite free throw shooter, elite mid-range shooter. Doesn't shoot a lot of threes. Doesn't make a lot of threes. But when you're that good of a mid-range shooter, when you attack and put pressure on the rim the way he does, it balances out in so many ways, especially in this type of a system where the Kings would just plug and play for a guy like Harrison Barnes, who, again, had an okay game today. Wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It's a Harrison Barnes game. You know, like he is who he is. Solid veteran. But if he can upgrade that position, you should definitely do it. You should definitely do it. Oscar says, I've seen Maxey shoot going max speed and have accurate shots, which gives the Raptors issues. Yeah, I mean, Maxey's solid, bro. I love me some Maxey. Like, he's good. He's good. But I do think there's levels to this, especially defensively. He's not that good defensively. Fox has always shown flashes. He's always been terrible. His first 5 years, coming into his 6th year with an actual coach that's going to demand the respect and hold him accountable like Mike Brown has. I mean, I've seen Mike Brown call timeout and yell at him because he fell asleep. He doesn't do it often anymore because he's learning. But his on-ball pressure, as I showed right now, elite. We can look at Maxey's real fast just to give you some context, right? So look at his perimeter defense on ball, 86 percentile, A-. Let's see. Tyrese Maxey, okay. Let's see where he's at. Oh, he's not that bad either. He's in the 83rd, A-. Slightly under him. Not bad. I'm actually surprised. Last year, I don't think he was very good either. And he does try and guard the ball handler as well, right? 32% of the time. A little bit better than De'Aaron. He just does it a little bit more. So again, to me, I don't pay attention much to the interior defense for a guard. Like I don't care about, his percentage of rim shots contested or his rim deterrence. Like I don't care for that. Like I really don't. On this team, Maxey has a smaller role because Embiid is the offense. And on this team, Fox takes on, I would say he splits the usage with Sabonis, but he is your offensive engine in so many ways. And so Maxey has more incentives in a way to play harder on defense because he doesn't do as much as Fox offensively. But when he's asked to do it, he has performed at a high level for sure. I just don't think he's as good of a basketball player as De'Aaron Fox. If you look at his playmaking, right? B+. Playmaking talent, 65th percentile, B-. There's definitely levels to this. He's not a De'Aaron Fox. At least not yet. Will he ever be? I don't know. I don't know. That's Julius. Let's go back to the box score there. But across the board, you needed more bench production. Keegan Murray had a good game again, 18 points. But you're missing those 25 from De'Aaron, man. You really are. They're good for the Knicks. 4 in a row. They're doing a good job. Let's see. Why do they play him? Oh, man. Your link to join doesn't work. I got you, bro. My bad. You guys can join the conversation right there. That's the link. I don't know why it does that. It's so weird. You're not the first to tell me that. Wonder if it changes every time. I'm not sure. But go ahead, Sam. The link is right there. We could watch some of the highlights as well. And watching Banton, he has speed control issues when finishing. Let's see. What's up, Sam? How are you?
So, Barrett, not too bad, eh? Yeah, very disappointing to watch today. Yeah, over in New Zealand, had to watch it at work, but can't say I was impressed with the game.
No, man, it was tough to watch. But what was your biggest takeaway?
Yeah, I mean, I said it in the chat earlier, but I just think we don't really know who those scorers are. I mean, I think we struggled obviously a lot without Fox because of his speed when he drives to the hoop, all the defenses collapse on him, giving those options for making Herder and Monk and all those guys look
Better.
good, And defensively, I don't know what happened, but RJ Barrett just got to the hoop without having any problems.
100%, and it starts on the perimeter, right? If
Yeah.
you put that pressure on Sabonis to get into foul trouble, you're doing yourself a disservice. And I just feel like their perimeter defense was weak tonight. I don't know why. You would think with Davion starting, he would set the tone, but I just felt like they just weren't ready tonight. Like I said earlier, I don't think the Knicks felt them.
No, I think Davion is coming into his own as a bench 6-man kind of guy. I don't think he's quite ready for that spot.
No, he's not a starter.
No, and I'm really having a hard time with Dellavedova being that bench player for Davion. I mean, I know this guy hasn't been chucked a name hat in a while, but I mean, there's still Kemba Walker still sitting around. He's more of a pure point guard in my eyes that can, give you those baskets and, set up.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I haven't even thought about Kemba. Did somebody sign Kemba already? Was it the Mavericks?
No one signed Kemba yet. He's still sitting in free agency, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, he's a guy, right? You're kind of trading defense for offense in that situation, right? Where tonight you kind of needed offense, and Delly's more that, he's going to grind you, stick to you, make you work type of guy. Like, he can still do that at a high level, but like you said, he's not that offensive engine that can get you buckets at any time. And we all know that Kemba can get you buckets, but the biggest thing with him is that he don't play any defense, and he's little out there. So it's a risk, but yeah, I don't know. I like the idea. I just don't know if it'll work because you expect Fox to play.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's the other thing with it. Obviously, you don't really want to account for this situation we're in where we're not really sure what's happening with Fox at the moment, him being out the last 2 games, hopefully back for the next one. But, yeah, it's an awkward situation because I feel we've been left in that we weren't expecting Delhi to really ever have to play these big bench minutes, and now he's in that position, and I think he's struggling a bit.
Yeah, and a guy that typically plays well off the bench was Terrence Davis, right? He
Mm,
says he only played 9 minutes, but I just felt like those 9 minutes were so magnified because of the mistakes that he made. He had 4 turnovers today. Wait, well, he says he had 0, but it just I don't even know how. There's no way. I mean, I don't know if they credit him for those, but he had some really bad. Oh, I guess like those bad fouls. They're not counting them as turnovers, but
mm,
he just had a really rough game, and it felt like he really held him back in those 9 minutes. I know it was only 9 minutes, but in those nine
mm.
minutes, the Knicks made a run. That's why he
I
was a
think it's
-11.
I think it's also because of the expectation we have of him now, seeing what he can do. I mean, he's been a big time player in some huge games and done his part. And then when you see him play like this, you kind of go, "Well, what's happened?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man. It's a bit of an interesting one, and I think Keegan's starting to progress nicely.
hmm
I'm just wondering what's going to happen when Fox comes back, because when Fox has been around, he's not shooting the ball as much as I'd like to see him try. Um, but yeah, hopefully that all works out.
Well, let's look at his game log because let's look at his 3 points as at his attempts. So if we go back to the beginning of November, or sorry, in October, he came out guns blazing. 19 points, 16,
Mm,
18, 22, 12. He took 10 shots, 8, 7, 7, 6. Then in November is when the struggle started happening. 7 points, 3 points, 6 points. He did take 5. He took 4. He took 4. He took 7. I mean, he still takes a good
mm,
amount of shots, like 2 of 9 against the Pacers, 1 of 6 against the Celtics. He's still taking these shots. It
mm,
just comes down to making them. And today 3 of 8. Last game 6 of 8 which was probably his best shooting game. It was his best one. 6 of 8. 3 of 6, 3 of 5, 3 of 8. So like you said, he's finally coming into his own
mm.
with or without Fox. Like he's gonna get these shots regardless.
What do you think the main difference or the main change that happened between that Knicks and Cavs game? I mean, I know they're two different teams, and the Cavs were missing a big player in their own, but I mean that Cavs team's been pretty strong this season. Do you
The
think it is
biggest
all up to
difference
Davian Donovan?
the biggest difference was the first quarter, right? The first quarter against the
Mm,
Bucks, they started off hot, but coach said it a ton of times. He felt like the Bucks didn't feel them, and he challenged them against the Cavs. They felt him, and then they reverted back against the Knicks. Like the first quarter was awful, and it comes down to consistency. Like, can you bring it every single night? Like, who is that leader? And that's why last game when he said Sabonis is your best player, and I said, that's funny and all. Like, I think that's a cute comment. The best player on the team is De'Aaron Fox, and as I've always said, you're gonna go as far as De'Aaron takes you, whether you like it or not. Because when we talk about upside, like if Sabonis is the best player, we've seen what he is as the best player with the Pacers. Again,
mm,
not a bad thing. 4 seed, 5 seed with the Pacers. But in the playoffs, you need a dynamic guard in the modern NBA that can play both sides of the ball and get you 30 a night. That's De'Aaron Fox. That's why when he's playing at his best, the Kings are at their best.
mm.
Period.
And that's the other thing. I think when Fox could easily be scoring a lot more than what he is. I think the
Mm-hmm.
thing is that he's playing. I mean, he has bought into Mike Brown's full story. It's that team. You buy into the team, and everyone's just as important as anyone, right? And he's just, like I said, he could be averaging 30 a night if he wanted to, but
Of
he's
course.
focused on winning. He's not trying to stat pad. He's just trying to win games, and I think that
That's
whole team's bought into that. But Sabonis is looking good as a big
that's
man.
Right. He's playing within the flow of the offense, right? Like he can get 30 points every single night, but will that make them win games at the expense of everybody getting less touches? Because that's how it goes with Luka, with Trey Young. Like the offenses are revolved around them, where someone just stands at a corner, and you just got to wait until that great playmaker gets you the ball. In this offense, everybody touches the ball, so it's just a little bit different.
And I mean, I think it's why the Warriors have looked good for so many years. I mean, Steph's obviously the main piece, but I mean, they brought up so many players through their system, and it was by getting all their players so many touches. They just all knew what to do. I mean, they were all a part of it.
Yeah, the ball has energy, and if everybody's involved, everybody wants to play harder. That's just the way it is. Logical Raptor says TDB like that sometimes. I agree. I've been saying that. Like, you can't expect him to put up big numbers every game. He's a bench player for a reason, right? Bench players are what? Inconsistent players. You're going to have good nights. You're going to have bad nights. You have to accept that for what it is. That's who he is, which is not a bad thing. I think fans just have to psychologically accept who he is. That's it.
What's the plans? I want to know what's happening in the GM office right now. With what is the plan with Harrison Barnes? Is he staying? Are they building up his trade value?
Nobody knows the answer to that. I don't even think Monty knows the answer to that, because when he has great games, you're like, I should probably hold up. You know what I'm saying? Like he's looking amazing, and we might have to extend him. And when he has a bad game, you're like, damn, like I wish I would have traded him. So I don't know what the plan is, man. I would still, and then people were like, oh, well, let's not mess up the chemistry. And I'm like,
nah.
First of all, if you can upgrade the position, upgrade the position. Like, come on. You know what I'm saying? Like, people buy it too much. I said, and it's a simple question. Do you believe in Mike Brown or not? Because if you do, you move that man for a better player. That's it. That's simple. Like, I think they look too much into this whole, like, first of all, he's not the best player on the team.
No.
So sometimes it's tough to go back and forth with people who truly believe that, but you know, it's one of those things where you're superstitious about things, and you haven't had success in 16 years, so you're trying not to move it, you know, to the left, to the right. Just leave it. I'm just like, no, like this team has, again, when you're missing a Fox, imagine how a DeRozan would be. You know what I mean? Like, if you can go get a guy like that, another bucket, which again, it's not the biggest priority for this team. I understand that. But it would be a nice thing to have, because now, if you're the opposing best defender, who are you going to guard? DeRozan or Fox? Pick your poison. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think the main thing that's Mike Brown's kind of saying through the players, but I think it needs to be said for the whole organization, is even to the fans, is we can't settle. We can't settle for like adequate, right? Like we've been playing better, but we can't sit at that level. I mean, I think that's what the Harrison Barnes thing is. I agree. He's a good player when he comes out hot, but he can give you some pretty average nights. But you know, and everyone, like you said, everyone doesn't want to get rid of him because there's this superstition that will revert back. But you can't settle for that. You'd have to play the game, right?
Yeah, think big. You got to think bigger, man. Like, you really do. Like, you have to put your chips in and go all in. Like, right now, you have the opportunity because Monk's on a great contract. Herter's on a great contract. Those guys are going to get paid in 2 years. Like, people have to understand that. So, if you can go out and get a guy right now that's on a 2-year deal, that's on a bigger deal like DeRozan, just an example, he's on $27 per year, but it's 2 seasons. So by the time his expires, you say bye to him, you kick him to the curb. you probably build some camaraderie with the team, and you build some credibility league wide, saying, okay, the Kings are for real. Let's go get somebody else. But first, you got to win, and you have to prove it, right? And that's what a guy like that would do, in my opinion. Obviously, I love Lauri Markkanen. There's a ton of guys that I love. To me, OG, I love OG, but I don't think the Raptors are going to trade him. I really don't, and they shouldn't. I mean, this guy is a defensive player of the year candidate. To me, he's the best defender right now in terms of the leader and defensive player of the year. I know Jay said, would you do a pick swap with Fred VanVleet? If Fred VanVleet wants to be a backup, I would love that.
Yeah.
But he has a big ego, and he's already banged up, and he's expensive. So I don't know. Would you trade Harrison? That's what I'm saying. Like,
No, I
if you
wouldn't
trade
trade Harrison
Harrison,
for
no, I
Fred
wouldn't,
VanVleet.
because you're not solving a huge issue.
Problem. Yeah.
No, yeah. So
I mean, we've got too many guys in that position as it is. We don't need another. I mean, we need a small forward. In all honesty, I mean that's what we're really
they
lacking.
need. That's what they need, man. That's what. Hey, I appreciate you, brother. I'm gonna get going. It's 11 p.m. here. What time is it over there?
8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Yeah.
So you guys are Hawaii time?
Nah, we're like ahead of you, I think, by 20 odd hours or so. But
Oh, so you're already December 12th.
yep.
Oh shit, that's wild. That is
I'm
wild.
in the future, man.
You're in the future. Uh-oh. I'm gonna start asking you for a gambling advice then, huh? Yeah, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
All right, cheers, man.
Yep.
See ya.
That was Sam there, man. That's awesome. Damn. He literally is in the future. But yeah. That's gonna do it, y'all. Good show tonight. Late one, unexpected, right? Had family over, couldn't get to it right after the game. But you know, it is what it is. The Kings need De'Aaron Fox. Make no mistake about it. They're better with them. They're a lot better with them. They need to make some moves. We all know that. I've been saying that. What moves will they make? I don't know. I have a preference in players, but we'll see what Monty does. They got to play hard every night, man. They really do. They're a fun team to watch. They play the right way, and tonight was one of those off nights in the mecca of basketball. So that's going to do it, y'all. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. We're coming out with some fire content this upcoming week. Stay tuned. Turn on your notifications. I appreciate everybody that joined it. Again, late notice, people that watch this after, I appreciate you. Make sure you guys leave a rating on iTunes, CK Podcast, with yours truly. Thank you guys. God bless, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.